Good morning, and thank you for joining me. Today I'm doing something a little bit strange. I'm going to a reserve that I don't actually like all that much. And I say I don't like it that much, that's probably a bit harsh, but it's a reserve where I've never had any luck whatsoever. But it's not a bad reserve either. It's somewhere that's famous all over the country. You get all kinds of specialities, rarities. In storms, interesting things come in off the coast. Some of you might even be able to pick out where it is just by looking out this window. But it's RSPB Dungeness. And you might go, oh, you don't like Dungeness? You blasphemer, how could you possibly not like Dungeness? Well, for the last 2 or 3 years, every single time I've come down here, I've just missed the rarity. I can't find the specialty that's here and everyone's travelling to come and see, or I just have a rubbish day where it's overcast, it's grey, it's boring, it's raining, and I see nothing. I'm going to give it a go, but it's been a tough week in my normal day job, real life, so I figured why not come and wipe the slate clean at Dungeness and see what's out. It's quite a big commitment though, coming down to Dungeness when I haven't had much luck here historically, because it's about an hour and 15 minutes away from where I live, in the bird wagon, in the bird machine, which is quite a lot of petrol. So fingers crossed it's worth it. Also, don't be that guy on reserve paths and lanes. Don't be the guy who drives past and doesn't say thank you and let them by. I'm not going to say a rude word. So I'm in the hide on the left-hand side of Dungeness, on the slightly less popular side, I guess. There are no divers here, but there's some shovelers, there's some basic stuff like some coots, and 1 or 2 Marsh Harriers have actually come across and spooked the whole lot. But from memory, the last time I was here, there's a fairly consistent sparrowhawk coming back and forth, using the tree line, I don't know if you can see it, using the tree line just here as cover. But for once the light is holding. It's not clouding over, it's actually really nice, if you can see. But so far no divers, unfortunately. The bittern that came over earlier has landed halfway up those reeds right on the far side of the lake here. So I'm going to put the 2x converter on and see just how close we can get it, because he's just sat there, so you can see him very well camouflaged, but you can see him, which is really rare for a bittern to be able to see it in the reeds, especially across a lake. So let me put the 2x converter on and see how close we can get. So I'm still in the hide. Hopefully you could hear that. All of the shovelers on the lake have come over to this corner. They seem to have hit a rich vein of food in a tiny little pocket in the ice. Full of rubbish. Let's go and find the divers. Hello and welcome. You join me from inside my hood because it's horrible. It's pretty, but horrible. And we're looking for the divers. Weirdly, at the first 2 spots on the reserve, it's dead quiet and the car park's full. So clearly everyone who's been on this side knows something I don't. So I'm going to walk around and follow the crowd, basically, but I can't see anyone. And just over there is the Dungeness nuclear power station, which is on the shingle part of the beach. I think, from memory, this is the largest shingle beach or shingle habitat in Europe. Might be the UK, but I think it's Europe. And in the skies above us, where we saw some real action in the Battle of Britain and throughout the war. So it's a really, really cool place. We're not looking for planes, we're looking for divers. Behind me you can see what most of this area is like. So this is the barren wasteland of Dungeness, if you like. There's the big power cords that come out of the power station, but then the shingle, the empty shingle, stretches on and on and on and on and on. And if you go down, right down to the beach, there is a pub there actually, but if you go right down to the corner and walk along, you can actually walk up past the power station and it feels like it stretches on forever because there's nothing. So if you can see what it's like out there, it's a bit of an alien landscape. Now on this side, bird watching. This pond is nice. If you come down to Dungeness in the spring or summer, it is alive with marsh frogs, newts. We got the divers. Unfortunately, they stayed 600-700 meters away, so it was very, very difficult to get anything useful. The best I could do was put the 2x converter onto the 400mm and zoom in to see which species it was, but it was the great northern diver and a black-throated diver. Apparently there was a red-throated diver, but I didn't see it. And it's just starting to fill up with people who've been out today and heard that it's around. So what I'm going to do is head over to Denge Marsh, where it's a bit quieter, it's a bit more out of the way, and from time to time you get a hen harrier down there, just as the light is getting really good. So it's a last throw of the dice to see what's over there. It's a really nice spot to sit over here. Yes, my arse is getting very wet and cold, but unfortunately I'm not seeing anything. There are some mallards plodding about just over here on the edge of the ice, but usually there are marsh harriers, egrets, herons and a kingfisher on this side, but I've seen absolutely nothing. So just enjoying the sun going down before, I think, heading home fairly soon. Well, I've packed up the kit and I'm back in the car. It's absolutely freezing outside. It says it's 5 degrees in the car, but with the wind it feels like -5. That spot, as beautiful as it was, there was nothing. It was dead, unfortunately, but you can't always win. We've seen the divers, we've seen the Bittern, and we've seen about 1,000 shovelers, so it's been a really good day overall, particularly considering that it's a reserve that I don't get on with that well. It's not been a particularly lucky place for me, but I'm happy I came. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go and get myself a takeaway, and I'll see you next time.